is 6:32, October 30th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order. This meeting of the Seguin Independent School District has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code. And we do have a quorum. Ms. Denise Crittenden will join us later on this evening. We'll now move on to 1B, pledges to the United States flag and Texas flag, followed by a moment of silence. And today the pledges will be led by Fernanda Herrera from Barnes Middle School, 6th grade student.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Honra a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación ante Dios, única e indivisible. Honra a la bandera de Texas. Te prometo lealtad a ti, Texas, un estado ante Dios, único e indivisible.
Gracias, Fernanda. Now we'll have a moment of silence. Now we'll move to item 1C, superintendent announcements.
Good evening, Matador Nation. Thank you for joining us on this cool Monday evening. While we traditionally meet on Tuesday nights, we wanted to ensure that our students and families who choose to participate in the Halloween trick-or-treating would have that opportunity tomorrow. Speaking of Halloween, I want to thank all of our students and families who came out to attend the Halloween Festival last Wednesday. Our Matador Special Services Department hosts this annual spooktacular event that includes games, sensory activities, arts and crafts, and plenty of candy for our students of all ages and abilities. Thank you to Mrs. Dean and her staff for hosting such a wonderful event, and this year we've even had an animal petting zoo. It's quite wonderful. The Matador Theater Department did an outstanding job last week with their performances of the SpongeBob musical. These talented students performed for our elementary school students 2 days in a row at the Performing Arts Center. All in attendance had a great time with lots of laughs. Tomorrow, our central office staff is looking forward to the second Matador Family Day of the school year. Teachers and campus staff will be provided a sweets bar, in a show of support for going above and beyond for our students. The final regular season home game for varsity football is Friday night as our Matadors host Smithson Valley at 7:30. Come out to Matador Stadium for senior night to show your support. Last week, a state district judge ruled in favor of a temporary injunction against TEA to block the November release of A through F school rankings. More than 100 Texas public school districts, including Seguin ISD, had filed suit against TEA for implementing the school rating formula without providing advance notice that doing so could cause irreparable harm to schools. A trial is set for February 12, 2024, which means ratings from the 22-23 school year will be released this spring at the earliest. Seguin ISD joined the lawsuit against TEA in August. Governor Abbott's top current legislative priority, which would allow parents to use taxpayer money for private education expenses, is currently being debated in a third special legislative session convened earlier this month. Legislators from both sides of the aisle continue to oppose the proposed voucher programs. An increase in funding for public schools, including raising teacher pay, are possibilities, but only if a voucher bill comes to him to sign. The next several weeks will be interesting in the legislature. In the meantime, I encourage you to please contact your representatives to let them know your thoughts on this public education issue. Election Day is around the corner, Tuesday, November 7th, and early voting continues this week through Friday. Make sure to visit a polling site and cast a ballot. Make your voice heard, Seguin ISD, and remember, it's a great day to be a Matador.
Thank you, Dr. Regan. Now we'll move to item 1D, board member reports, and we'll start with Madam Malone.
Other than attending meetings, I have nothing to report.
Well, I gotta tell you, last week was a busy, busy week around here. Especially the hometown rivalry. It was a great week. I really enjoyed it. I was at the high school multiple nights for activities there. Got to see the 8th grade teams from AJB and Barnes play. And it was a great game. That 18 game tie in at the end, you know, it was a very great game to be a part of and to watch that whole ordeal. And then volleyball the next night, and then we had our youth sports practice on the football field Thursday night since there was a away game by the high school team. So very busy week for everybody, enjoyable week, and thank you for everything that all of the people are doing. I know I saw the middle school, Jim Barnes Middle School band teacher on every event that I was at. So, you know, props to him. Thank you very much for that.
You're right, it has been very busy, but I'd like to highlight just a couple of things that I was able to be involved with. First of all, and we're going to hear more this evening about the Seguin Education Foundation, but it's an organization near and dear to my heart as I'm a founding board member of that organization. And this past month, we have been going around, we call it the Welcome Wagon, and we go with the Human Resource Department, go around to each school and welcome new teachers to the district, the Education Foundation, and I want to publicly thank everyone who gives to that organization, whether it be their time or they give monetary donations. We were able to give each new teacher in the district $50. So thank you, Seguin Education Foundation, and some of you are here this evening. And I also, well, I went to several things, sporting events and fine arts events, but I just want to give a shout out to the Mighty Matador Marching Band in their contest that they competed in this year. And it was a fantastic show, and it was nice to go to their competitions and hear other people talk about Seguin because we're well known in that in band, and so that was nice. And then I went to the production of SpongeBob, the musical, at the high school, and that was fantastic as well. Thank you.
Thank you, board members. I attended a lot of meetings, several activities, but one of my favorites was the Matador Special Service Department event that they had here at the central office. It was a great time for the kids and the parents. You could just see all the smiling faces and giggles. So once again, that's a very good event for the whole community of the district. And just to remind the boards, we do have that Excel spreadsheet or the board report button where you can enter your activities, and that way we can keep track of that on the spreadsheet.
Because I know I'm not the only person who goes to things, so it just says my name for a long time, so you guys get busy on that.
Also wanted to bring up the luncheon that we had recognizing Dr. Vigil with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Power Lunch, and her being recognized in the community just in a short period of time, her recognition in this community and the things that she's doing. So great job, Dr. Vigil. Thank you for being here.
And now we'll move on to item 2, recognition/campus presentations. 2A, student staff board community recognition. Mr. Sean Hoffman and Dr. Leakey will present.
Good evening, President Guerra, Dr. Vigil, and trustees. As you know, each month we are privileged to honor designees from each campus. Our principals identify deserving students so we can recognize them at our monthly board meetings. And we are Matador proud to have these outstanding students with us tonight. Students, please step forward with your family as we announce your name to receive the Superintendent's Student of the Month Award. Our first student tonight, Elise Guerrero. Elise is a 5th grade student at Jefferson Avenue Elementary School. Her teacher, Ms. Goodine, notes that Elise truly cares about her peers and academics. She is always willing to help others and exemplifies the Jefferson Avenue core beliefs: encourage learning and empower others. She has perfect attendance, is a member of the AB Honor Roll, and performs with the Jefferson Drum Company. Elise's parents are Monica and Tom Guerrero. Congratulations, Elise. Fernanda Herrera, please step forward once again. Fernanda is a 6th grade student at Barnes Middle School. Her teachers report that she exhibits strong leadership skills and is an accomplished writer. Lord knows we need more of those. She excels in both English and Spanish and uses this gift to assist emerging bilingual students to help them understand concepts during class. She contributes eagerly to class discussions, is very responsible, and naturally she earns good grades. Fernanda also plays violin as part of the Bonds Mariachi program. And thank you for leading us in the pledges in English and Spanish this evening. Fernanda's parents are Griselda Herrera and Jose Ubaldo. Congratulations, Fernanda. Next up, let's have a warm welcome for Isis Vargas. Isis is a senior at Seguin High School, and Principal Perez reports that Isis always has a smile and a can-do attitude. She serves as a color guard lieutenant, has earned all A's during the first 6 weeks, and epitomizes what it means to be a matador. She also serves as treasurer for student council. All of her teachers agree that she is a worthy ambassador for Seguin High School. Isis's parents are Raquel and Samuel Vargas. Congratulations, Isis. Next up, Dr. Vigil will do the monthly Superintendent's Apple Award.
This month's Apple Award recipient has served several roles during her tenure at Seguin ISD. Under her leadership, she effectively provides vision, guidance, and a safe, engaging environment for all to learn. Her roles with Seguin ISD spanning 25 years have included a science teacher, assistant principal, academic dean, principal, restorative practices coordinator, and student support coordinator. In her current role as the director of the After School Centers on Education, better known as the ACE program, her professionalism, compassion, and expertise have shaped the program's impact on student learning. Let's have a warm round of applause for our October Apple Award recipient, Allison Seidenberger.
Give Allison nobody's ever going to see. Okay. We're looking at the award. Congratulations. Woohoo!
And now we'll move to item 2B, which is campus highlights. This evening, we are Matador proud to learn about activities and initiatives in our schools. Let's welcome Jefferson Avenue Elementary School Principal Chris Todorsky, who is here to share how community involvement, student committees, and parent engagement has had a positive impact on Jefferson culture.
All right, good evening, Board President, Mr. Guerra, Superintendent, Dr. Vigil, Board of Trustees, thank you for having us tonight. Raise this a little bit. So, today we wanted to highlight our community and culture that we're cultivating here at Jefferson Avenue. Our theme this year is Learning is a Journey, Adventure Awaits, and tonight we're going to take you on the adventure of cultivating our culture. Before we do, we're going to do a little introduction of who we are, talk about our mission and vision. We're going to talk about our campus improvement plan, a Big Rock, and how everything ties to it, our community engagement, and our student committees that we've developed this year. So first, like Mr. Guerra said, I'm Chris Todorsky, Principal at Jefferson Avenue.
Cecilia Reyes, Assistant Principal. And Jamie Burton, Academic Dean. So we're going to lead off with our vision and mission statement. Our vision statement was a collective effort put together with our staff feedback this summer, and we really wanted a vision that really embodies what we're trying to do this year at Jefferson Avenue. Our vision is to learn passionately, love inclusively, and lead boldly. And to do that every day at Jefferson, we're encouraging exploration by incorporating more student discourse within our lessons. So that's one of our observation look-throughs when we're looking in a class. We want to see students discovering. Building culture. We have a mentor program on campus this year. Teachers, staff, and even district members are coming to the campus each week to meet with their mentors or mentees. We also empower learners through creative design. So taking our HQM, HMH, and Eureka math and defining what that looks like on Jefferson's campus. Really looking at how we're implementing it and focusing in those PLCs on modeling and rehearsal of that to make sure our instruction is effective.
A lot of that work that Jamie was talking about, we wanted to define ourselves this year as Jefferson and start new, and that vision, that mission is new, and a lot of the initiatives that we're presenting today are brand new for our campus. So our campus goal here, one of our big rocks, is to improve student, staff, parent, and community perception determined by the Net Promoter Score. Yeah, we have a couple things highlighted down there, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about is we've seen that we want to increase our attendance, and we know when we have this culture and we're developing it, we're going to increase attendance, we're going to see it improve in our academics, and therefore it leads to a growth mindset. One thing we've seen already this year is we have had an increase in attendance that I'll touch on in a little bit, but when our students feel more successful, our teachers feel more successful, we're able to build upon that and grow, and that's where we're calling the growth mindset.
With that, we're enhancing campus perception and classroom culture by using our Title I aids and substitutes inside of our high needs classrooms. For example, if you walk into one of our 4th grade math classes, you'll see small group instruction, so maybe 3 separate stations, 3 instructors, no more than 8 students in a group. So they're really getting that targeted instruction. What we've noticed with this is teachers are building confidence in their instruction, and students are taking on more of that learning onto themselves. A lot of that ownership that we've been wanting them to have.
I'm excited to talk to you about our partnerships. We have started PTC. It's new. We have a brand new cabinet. We haven't had one in the past couple of years, and we have over 45 members and growing. And then,
Okay, so one of the programs that I wanted to start this year was GEMS, and it's very similar to a Watchdogs concept of getting parent volunteers on campus, but I wanted to make it open with the guardian term because we have a lot of different types of guardians on our campus. And the experience that I want them to have when you get to be a volunteer on our campus is that you get to partake in some of the instruction on campus, whether it's a small group reading, helping support some of the link breaks with kiddos, doing some lunch breaks, but then you also get to share some time with your student as well, having lunch with them or getting to play outside with them. and then some other stuff as typical volunteers get to do as far as copies or helping out in the library as well. So we kind of tailor that to what they feel comfortable with, and we tailor that to the amount of time that they're really willing to donate to the campus. And so you come in and we welcome you, and we give you a schedule of what's going on for today, and we give you a tour, and then we let them, support the campus in any way that they can.
We have also had a couple of adopters. Pictured here is Burks and Bells, who helped us at the beginning of the school year with school supplies. We also have another adopter that has helped us start a food pantry at our school to help those families in need on our campus.
All right, so another initiative that we took to get our culture change is a principal advisory committee. I meet with this group of kiddos. There's a 4th grade group and a 5th grade group. We meet about once a month, and so far we've had one meeting, we've got one coming up. But I get the perspective of what it's like to be a student in those grade levels, and we talk about then what is our cultural vision, and I review the mission and vision with them too, and we talk about where do we want to see the change. Specifically in our last meeting, we had a discussion about assemblies, and each week we do assemblies with every grade level, and how do we get students involved, how do we get students to start feeling and being a part of that change that we want to see as well. Their input this time around was how do we get students to talk more during our assemblies. We do a lot of presenting, but now how do we get that discourse and how do we get them involved in those assemblies? So I was really proud that they brought that up and they want to be a part of that.
Another group of students that is highlighted here is the Safety Patrol. There consists of 4th and 5th grade students who not only applied to be in the position, also got letters of recommendation from their teachers. A part of their duties is opening car doors in the morning and also rewarding other students on the campus with Matador money for those students that are exhibiting safe, respectful, and responsible behaviors.
So all these things together, they have helped increase attendance. Our attendance has increased by over 1.5%, or about 1.5%, and so that's tremendous for us. The empowerment that we give to the students has just been impactful, and we can see it in them in the culture in the classrooms that's developing. Lastly, I want to invite you all to our Books and Bingo night coming up this Thursday from 5 to 6. It's going to be an example of what you're going to see as far as community engagement, and also we're going to have our PTC there. We're going to have a booth that's going to be able to talk about GEMS and what that's like, and we're constantly growing both of those. My vision for that GEMS program is for it to be branded, have its own shirt too, and so I'm getting there. But our PTC is on that way as well, and you learn about both of those. Have some fun with bingo, snacks, prizes, if you guys would like to come. And that concludes our presentation. Any questions?
What does the GEM stand for? Does it stand for something?
It does. Thank you for asking. Guardians of Exceptional Matador Students.
Oh.
And so I refer to the volunteers that come on as the GEM.
A lot of wonderful things going on in Jefferson. I had both my children. We live 2 blocks away from Jefferson, and I wish they would have had a lot of this that they have going on now. But you guys are doing a great job out there. We appreciate it.
We appreciate y'all's support as well. Thank you.
See you Thursday.
All right.
Our next item is number 3, audience with the board, and no one signed up today, so we're going to skip number 3. We'll move along to item number 4, reports/information items. 4A, report of Board of Trustees continuing education hours. And what you see on the screen are just the individual, the names of each trustee, and then the training there's some mandatory training that we're supposed to take every year, depending on how long you've been on the board. And it also has the number of hours that we've taken this past year. And this is posted on the website. If not, it's going to be posted on the website so the audiences, the community can view it. Kind of gives you an idea of, thanks to the TEA and the state, how much hours we have to put in. And a lot of it is legitimate training that we need to keep the board going in the right direction. Item 4B, Seguin Education Foundation Annual Report, presentation by Jill Nash, Seguin Education Foundation Director.
Good evening, Board President Garris, Superintendent Dr. Vigil, and Board of Trustees. My name is Jill Nash, and I am the new Director of the Education Foundation, as well as the Director of Community Outreach for Seguin ISD. So we had a wonderful year this year, and I'd like to share that with you guys. The mission for the Seguin Education Foundation is to generate and distribute resources to enrich teaching, inspire learning, and enhance opportunities for students enrolled in the district. The goals we set this year was to encourage all students to achieve academic excellence, support staff for innovative and exemplary teaching, build community awareness for Seguin Education Foundation and Seguin ISD, as well as inspire parents, community, and alumni to participate with the school district in enriching education. Those goals were met this year in many ways. One of the ways is the grants that we are able to fund for the teachers throughout the district. We also made that goal by the Celebration of Excellence Banquet. This is for the top 10% of the students, and this gives them the opportunity to award their educator heroes. Another goal we met was to provide innovative teaching resources. We did that as well as with the teaching grants. And then monetary gifts to help the new teachers, which Trustee Duncan mentioned about the welcome wagon. And we just finished that up for this year. And then the Celebration of Excellence Educator Hero Awards. Another goal met was to build community awareness for SEF and Seguin ISD. It's very important for us to partner with the community in order to have board members with the Education Foundation. And so reaching out to them, having them on the board, it's important to involve that with the community so we can build that partnership. We also have our fundraising and events, which is another outreach for the Education Foundation. And then we also send a monthly e-newsletters to all of our supporters. Another goal is to inspire parents, community, and alumni to participate in enriching education. Publicity for the events that we have are very important. People want to know where their monies are going, and we'd like to get that out there to the community as well as the sponsors. We'd like to get them noticed. Here is last year's welcome wagon for September of 2022. There will be some new faces you have seen recently as we're going to post shortly with the welcome wagon for this year. And our surprise patrol from November of 22. We have a surprise patrol potentially soon. Stay tuned. And so you'll see new pictures and so forth for that at our next presentation. Here's a few pictures from last year's grants in action. So it's great to see that the teachers asking for these grants are putting them into play and really working hard so that way we can continue to fund them going forward. This year we awarded over $60,000 in grants in 2022. When we award them this year, it's going to be a little bit more than that. Stay tuned. The Celebration of Excellence that we spoke about, this is your top 10%, and some are pictured with their educator heroes. That will be coming up again in May, so stay tuned for that. Here is a picture of our board members from last year. We will have a new picture coming up for this year, so stay tuned for new and friendly faces. We have our Mardi Gras that'll be coming up this February. This is from last year. And they donated over $104,000 to help with our teacher grants and so forth. Now, this is last year's Race for Education. That was done in April. You guys have seen today on social media, it was posted for the race that we had Saturday. It was a wonderful event. We had over 80 participants. We had Mayor Dodgen, and then Trustee Duncan and Dr. Vigil. They were there as our MCs. They did a phenomenal job. It was great. Yes, they did a phenomenal job partnering with us to award those participants. Here is a list of some of our sponsors. You might see plenty of familiar faces. We hope to continue sponsoring with them going forward. Some of the events we've started for this year was our alumni booth that we had during our homecoming game. That's where you see the white glasses that were passed out. They had our logo on there. We signed up more alumni so that way they can continue to help and support Seguin ISD through the foundation. We just had our Nuts About Education 5K. Coming up in February is our Mardi Gras Gala. Stay tuned for that. That's a lot of fun. And then we'll have our Celebration of Excellence on May the 9th. So mark your calendars for those events. And that's all that I have for you guys. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm just real excited to have you as our new executive director and also working for the district. And you have just hit the ground running. So thank you for everything that you've done since you came on board.
Thank you so much.
Last week? Was it last?
3 weeks, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here and partner with you guys.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. Next item is 4C, Seguin ISD 2022-2023 bilingual education, bilingual/English as a second language, ESL, program evaluation and Texas English language proficiency assessment, TELPAS. And the results will be presented by Andrea Jaramillo.
Good evening, Board President Guerra, Dr. Vigil, and trustees.
Today I am up here with Cindy Lassiter. She is our multilingual coordinator and she will be sharing this presentation with me. This is a state requirement or that we are required to share with you the effectiveness of our program, that we do this every year before November 1st. A few key terms that we are going to go over today. We have EBs. I'll say that a few times throughout this program. That means emergent bilinguals. That is how they are labeled at the state level. Then we have English learners, ELs. That's how they are coded at the federal level. ESL, as Mr. Guerra said, English as a second language. TELPAS, Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment. This assessment shows the progress our EBs are making in English, and then biliteracy. The overall goal of our program is for our students to be biliterate in English and in Spanish and show proficiency there. So our elementary programs, we have one-way dual language, solely EBs in this class, EB identified students in this classroom. Last year we had this at Ball, Potlawn, and then 5th grade at Kennedy and Rod. That was our last push at Kennedy and Rod this current school year. Kennedy and Rodriguez are solely two-way campuses. We have two-way, which is the emergent bilinguals and the monolingual students who have requested access to the dual language program. They are both in there partnered together to learn both languages. And then we have ESL pullout in grades 3 through 5. Our RLA teachers service those students in 3 through 5. And then in K2, we have ESL content-based. That is because they are self-contained there. And then you'll see our programs and our numbers versus EBs versus non-EBs. Ball, Potlawn, Kennedy, and Rodriguez, you can see by the different programs, one-way or two-way, and how many students we have participating. This is our ESL numbers. We do have ESL students at all of our elementary campuses, just a handful, but we do service those students as well. And then we move into our secondary campuses. So I wanted to really highlight the students on the left here. Those students earned the Seal of Biliteracy last school year. This was the first year that we awarded that seal here in Seguin ISD. Those students had to show proficiency in both languages. They also submitted a presentation to the superintendent leadership team, and then they were awarded that Seal of Biliteracy. This seal goes on their high school diploma. They received a medal, and they're able to put this on their transcripts. We had one student, Anastasia, in the center. She was our valedictorian. She showed proficiency in Russian and English, and the rest of the students showed proficiency in Spanish and English. So we're really proud of that. Our ESL numbers at our secondary level, we are an ESL pull-out program there. We do have ESL teachers at the campus, and they serve our students along with paraprofessionals. And then you can see our numbers there. I want to note the high school ended the year prior with 165 students. They grew to the end of last year with 192 students who are emergent bilinguals. That's a significant growth, and you're going to see that in the upcoming slides. Then we have our parent denial numbers. A parent always has the option to deny services, and for them to do that, they first must meet with their campus principal. The principal will then explain the program, the benefits of the program, and they can, if they still wish to deny, then they would come up to central office and have a conversation with me or Ms. Lassiter, where we would then again explain the program model and the benefits and pros for being in the program, and should they still wish, then they will be a parent denial. We do revisit each of these parents every school year to ask them if they would like to re-enter the program. But you can see our numbers there over time. Then we've got our total EB enrollment, and you can see we're steadily growing by 1% at the district level every year. Okay, and then we've got lots of numbers for you all. And then we've got our emergent bilinguals at the elementary level. You can see in the 1, 2, 3, 4th column the percent of EBs. That was funny. The percent of EBs of total campus enrollment based on total campus enrollment. There are recent immigrants, so how many students do we have that are recent arrivals here in the United States? And then the percent of EBs of the district total. So at Ball, they have a total of 439 students. At that campus, that speaks for 17.5% of the student population at Ball. And then when it transfers to the district level, that's 1% of the total district that are EBs. Then you can look at our secondary numbers. You can see that the high school total bilingual students, they contribute 2.7% of our total EB population. And the recent immigrant for the high school last year ended at 28 students. That's very significant. Those students are still required to take all-star assessments, just so you're aware. And then the next piece that we're going to get into is TELPAS. We look at listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We're really going to focus in on speaking and writing today. Do note that just as STAR 2.0 was a redesigned assessment, TELPAS was also a redesigned assessment. Students in 2nd through 12th grade who are EBs had to take the test on the computer, and even in 2nd grade they had to type all of their writing responses. That was new for all of our students last year and everyone in the state of Texas, and we're going to show you some of that data right now so you can see how we compare to the state of Texas.
Okay, so I'm kind of going to focus on speaking because previously our students who were not able to reclassify from ED status, it was mostly due to their speaking scores. So last year we had a very big push for instruction across the content areas for speaking to have students participate more in class with speaking. So if we're looking at state data, in 2022, 36% of the state EBs scored advanced on TELPAS. in the speaking domain, and then 5% advanced high. And then last year, it was 33% of the kids were advanced and 8% were advanced high. In Seguin ISD, we really showed some phenomenal growth. I'm super excited about this. 38% of our EVs in Seguin ISD scored advanced, and 10% scored advanced high. So we outperformed the state. So we're really excited about this. In TELPAS writing, so as Ms. Jaramillo mentioned earlier, in 2022, our writing was holistically graded by teachers using a rubric. And last year, TEA changed it, and TELPAS writing became on the computer. The kids took the test on the computer from second grade to 12th grade. And if you notice, there was a significant decrease in the students' scores at the advanced and advanced high levels. This also occurred in Seguin ISD. You can see that we scored 26% of our students scored advanced, and 4% scored at advanced high. So this school year, our push is continuing to be speaking with addition of writing. And once again, that's across the content areas at all grade levels. Okay, so previously our accountability was based on composite. So last school year, if TEA had chosen to use composite scores for growth, we had 22% of our EBs that showed 1 year of growth for their composite scores. And then 3% of our EBs showed 2 years of growth. Okay, and when I say composite, that means the average of their 4 language domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay. So in 2022, I kind of want to compare the 2 years because there was a significant shift in accountability. In 2022, as a school district, we scored 33% of growth using that composite or average score. We did not quite meet the state goal in 2022. In 2023, accountability shifted. TEA determined that we would look at growth based on individual language domains. So the kids they needed to show growth in 2 or more language domains. So we had, in our accountability snapshot, 489 students who qualified for this. Of the 489, 296 of our students showed growth in 2 or more language domains, which means we had 61% growth, which is really, really good for what we are trying to accomplish. It's really great. Actually, let me kind of talk to you a little bit about this. I'm going to dig a little bit deep into this. I kind of want to talk about Seguin High School because I'd like to highlight Seguin High School on this. Actually, all of our campuses, with the exception of one, accomplished long-term growth. Okay, so we have short-term growth, and then we have long-term growth. If we reach long-term growth, we get more points for our accountability, which means score better, right? So Seguin High School in 2022 had 26% growth, which was below what they were supposed to. And in 2023, they had 63.6% growth. Their short-term growth expectation was 34%. So 34%, 63%, right? Huge. Their long-term growth was supposed to be 40%. So long-term growth, we far exceeded our long-term growth. So I am really excited about this. Y'all should be really excited about this. We're really excited about this. I really wanted to highlight Seguin High School because we worked really hard, the whole team. We worked really, really hard at Seguin High School last year to get these numbers up. The kids did so good. I'm proud of the kids. They did really good.
And in my 6 years here, Seguin High School has never received their EB status. They've never received any points for that, and so this was the first year, and they received all points. It was amazing.
So we're really happy. We're really, really happy. Really happy. Okay, so let's switch gears to elementary. And once again, I'm focusing on speaking because that was our big push last year. We had 30% across the district of our elementary students show 1 year growth in speaking. We had 5% show 2 years of growth in speaking. On our dual language campuses, we had at Pot 1, 21% of our kids showed 1 year of growth, and I cannot read that number. 3%? Is that 5% or 3%? 5%? 5%? Yeah, 3, sorry. Showed 2 years of growth. At Rodriguez, we had 31% of our kids showed 1 year growth, 7% showed 2 years of growth, and we actually had 1% of our kids show 3 years of growth, which means they went from beginner, intermediate, advanced high. They went from beginning level to advanced high, okay? In a year, yes. And research shows that it takes students 5 to 7 years to acquire their second language in academic language. So elementary, you don't see the growth really till after second grade. So to see this growth is really, really, really great for our elementary schools. And then at Kinnicky, we had 31% also show 1 year of growth, and we had 5% show 2 years worth of growth. So we're seeing our dual language kids are really building a strong, strong foundation for transitioning into English while maintaining biliteracy in their primary language, which is very exciting. That's the goal. And then in our secondary campuses, all of them combined, we had 31% of our kids show 1 year of growth, and then we had 4% of our kids show 2 years of growth, and we actually had 1% of our kids show 3 years worth of growth. At Barnes, we had 26% of our kids show 1 year of growth, and then 5% showed 2 years. At AJB, we had 25% of our kids show 1 year of growth, and then we had 2 kids show 3 years worth of growth, so that was fabulous. And then at Seguin High School, once again, here we go. Super excited for Seguin High School. 37% of our kids showed 1 year of growth, and 7% of our kids showed 2 years, and then we had 1% show 3 years, which is really good, really outstanding. Super proud of them. Okay, so we implemented some specialized pacing with our HQIM for 6th and 7th grade and 9th and 10th grade. The data was telling me that the kids were really struggling in those transition years. So we designed classes for those kids for those transition years to better support the need for linguistic accommodations. So the classes have sheltered instruction. We do a deep dive into vocabulary, give more time for talking, using the structured conversations. We have added an ESL para at Barnes and at the high school, which we really, really needed. And then we also, this year, have added an LPAC clerk for our middle school to help us process more of the paperwork so that the teachers can spend more time on instruction and less time on paperwork.
And so just a couple of pictures to highlight some things that we have done with our recent arrival students. This is intercession, and they traveled this year, fall intercession. We actually took them to Texas State so that they could tour Texas State and really see what it has to offer for them. The students enjoyed that tremendously. We also still took them to the pumpkin patch and did their scavenger hunt in downtown Seguin so that they're getting to know their new environment. And then they also write their stories, and they talk to us a lot about their journeys and share just different stories that they have from home with us. And so, and then this is our bilingual dual language academy that we have every school year. We actually have it the week after school gets out. That's what the teachers have voted on. They come every day for the week, and that's when they get all their exchange day hours, so they really like that. But we also call in presenters to come in to present to these teachers so that they're getting the specialized instruction and support that they need. So any questions?
I have one question. Really great data on all the stuff, on all the improvements. It's really exciting. Just for those that are following along at home, looking at the graphics, let's just talk about the red for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The key says -1. What does that mean? What are we looking at with that, the red section?
So it could be a student that went from the intermediate level 1 year, and then the next school year went back to beginner. But they look at it over 2 years, and so it could be a student who was with us, moved to a different country and then came back the following school year, and so they went backwards.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Just a clarification, because there's so many acronyms.
Yeah.
We added an LPAC clerk. What does that stand for?
Sure. Well, that's one I didn't write in my thing.
No, it's okay.
No,
It's okay.
LPAC clerk is Language Proficiency Assessment Committee, and
Yeah, I
it's
never would have gotten that.
yes, it's what we talk about every student, every EB student, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and we also talk progress monitoring. And it's a committee that meets, it has the principal, a teacher, and a parent rep that talks about every single student on the list.
That's great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So we have LPAC clerks at the middle schools?
We have one at the middle school. We didn't have that prior. We just had one that was for elementary and one that was for high school. But with our recent numbers and how much we have grown, we saw the need. Ms. Lassiter was taking on that additional duties as assigned, but we really saw a need for it. And so she's doing great things at both of our middle schools, and our principals are really happy with the additional support. It's a lot of paperwork, as you can imagine, and keeping track of all of that, to have someone that can do that is very helpful.
So one per campus level?
Yes.
One per campus level. Great, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks again for the good presentation. It looks like they're doing a great job of focusing on the positives and identifying where areas of improvement are. And thank you. Now we're going to move to item number 5, which is the consent agenda items. Consider and possible approve as applicable. Policy BE local states that the consent agenda shall include items of a routine and or recurring nature grouped together under one action item. All such items shall be acted upon one vote without separate discussion, unless a board member requests that an item be withdrawn for individual consideration. The remaining items shall be adopted under a single motion and vote as applicable. 5A, approval of board minutes of regular meeting September 26, 2023, special meeting October 10, 2023, and special meeting October 16, 2023. 5B, approval of tax collection reports for September 2023. 5C, approval of proposed budget amendments and financial statements for September 2023. 5D, approval of donations received September 2023. 5E, approval of district-wide plumbing system maintenance, equipment, parts and services, RFP number 24-02. 5F, approval of district-wide facilities maintenance, electrical, equipment, parts and services, request for proposal number 24-04. Item 5G, approval of district-wide special education services, RFP 24-05. 5H, approval of district-wide educational continuing services, RFP 24-02-06. 5I, information regarding purchases through the TIPS Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $222,831. 5J, information regarding purchases through the DIR Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $1,509.97. 5K, information regarding purchases through the Board Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $207,213. 5L, information regarding purchases through the Allied States Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $108,177. 5M, information regarding purchases through 2013 Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $82,752. 5N, information regarding the contract between Seguin ISD and the Career Academy of Training for Nursing Aid and Phlebotomy Training Services in the amount of $53,500. 5O, bilingual education exception and English as a second language waivers. 5P, personnel information, professional employees. And 5Q, acknowledge Public Information Act request, September, October 2023. Does any board member request to pull a consent item? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
I move to approve consent items A through Q.
I second.
Motion has been made by Ben Amador to approve the consent agenda, and second by Joshua Bright. Any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passed, 5-0. 4-0. The next item is 8, reconvene to open, item number 7, closed session. Item number 6, action items. Appointment of directors to the Seguin Education Foundation. I have spoke with a couple of individuals, trustees, who have said they would be willing to continue their role in the Education Foundation. So that would be Linda Duncan and Carl Jenkins. So do I hear a motion to approve those two trustees to continue?
I move to approve Linda Duncan and Carl Jenkins to continue their service on the Seguin Education Fund Board of Directors.
Second.
Motion has been made by Joshua to elect or appoint Linda Duncan and Carl Jenkins to the Seguin Education Foundation Board. Seconded by Ben Amador. Any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your right hand. 4-0, motion passed. Item 6B, adopt a resolution for the assignment of fund balance. Tony Hilbert will present.
Good evening, President Guerra, Superintendent Dr. Vigil, and members of the board. We, as you know, have a practice when items come up that are outside the normal course of the budgetary process. We ask that you consider funding this by way of a fund balance assignment. What we have before you is a resolution to do that, specifically with regard to retention incentives associated with employees that have returned from the prior school year under certain conditions, as well as other one-time stipends, all that are associated with retention and filling vacancies. Staffing is constantly an issue. So we had some things that we were working on at the beginning of this school year as well as at the end of last school year. Obviously, we could not present to you what it would cost because we didn't know how successful those efforts would be. Now that we know the payouts have actually taken place in the month of October, we need to seek your approval to fund those efforts. And so $800,000 is the price tag, which is about $200,000 less than what we had originally anticipated when developing the budget.
Can you tell us the majority of where that money went to, or which part of the stipends and the sign-ons, like where was that most impactful at?
Yes, sir. By far, the majority of the $800,000, over 3/4 of it is a result of the retention incentive. It's not a bonus. We tend to use the term bonus a little bit loosely, but in reality, it's an incentive. So we had the arrangement, as you'll recall, was $1,000 for returning instruction-related classroom teachers and $500 for everyone else. And obviously, teachers are our largest single population of staff, and they were also getting the largest incentive. So the vast majority of it is a result of those retention incentives. We did have some pretty good dollar amounts associated with the special ed sign-on bonus. It's $2,500, a very difficult area to staff. However, because of the number of individuals that are impacted by that, the overall dollar impact isn't near what you're seeing as a result of the retention incentive. And we can certainly do that again, just to give you a true picture now that we've run the payroll, just to break it down, the dollar amounts that are associated with each of those groups, if you'd like.
Nothing for us.
Any more questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve action item number B, 6B?
Mr. President, before we move forward to adopt the resolution for the assignment of fund balance.
Motion has been made by Linda Duncan to approve action item 6B, and second by Ben Amador. Any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passed 4-0. Thank you, Tony. Now we'll move on to item 6C, discussion and possible action. Find no good cause exists for educator resignations. Joel Trevino will present.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, Board President Guerra, Superintendent of Schools. Good evening, Board President Guerra, Dr. Vigil, Superintendent of Schools, and Board of Trustees and guests. We recommend that the Board take action to find that no good cause exists for the employee resignations that occurred beyond the penalty-free period that we have set, that the state has set for employees to resign who have a contract, that date being around the 1st of July. So they have a contract, they decided they had reasons, they explained those to us, but still those reasons were not a no good cause. So we, one of the things that we do is, if there is no good cause, we notify the State Board of Educator Certification that they have abandoned their contract.
What is the result, or what do the teachers experience that have this under contract, that they abandon their contract?
I believe it's a process that the State Board of Educator Certification that works under the Texas Education Agency, they contact the teacher, they ask for the reasons that they abandoned their contract, and if they find that there was no good cause, a reprimand may be inscribed in their teaching certificate. It doesn't preclude them from getting employment, but it's still a reprimand. So they can still be employed in other school districts. But when they ask that question, they have to answer to prospective employers.
So do those employees, for example, if they go work at, let's say, New Braunfels, and does HR, can they call over here and they can only ask how long they were employed, correct? They can't really give them an explanation as to why they left? They should be asked that question in the employment application, if they're still in their contract with a previous school district, and they're still under contract. It's just that they abandoned it. So that should be a red flag. And if they should call the principal. Principal should go like, maybe you need to call HR, and we would definitely be at liberty to kind of divulge that they abandoned their contracts. It's a matter of public record. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Trevino, in your many years of experience in the HR world with teachers, like, how is this really like affected a teacher?
This is not unusual that this occurs. It occurs in almost every school district in the state of Texas. The teacher ranks are, people are leaving for a multitude of different reasons. So it may affect them because, as I said, there will be an inscription on their teaching certificate at the very bottom that says reprimand. And when that reprimand, it doesn't really tell the prospective employer what it means. So that kind of begins questions to the prospective, to the candidate. And they should just kind of explain what happened. They usually do. I was going through this, I was going through that. I needed to go somewhere else. My parents moved and needed whatever. And people understand those kind of reasons. The state of Texas is very prescriptive in regards to what reasons they may leave a contract. Those are not good reasons to leave a contract.
I just know that it put us in a difficult place with some of our, filling those education roles after they left at the beginning of the school year. So I was just kind of curious, like, how it would affect them in the long run. Because I know it affected us.
Yes, exactly.
It's a relatively new phenomenon, right, in the state for so many teachers to leave, abandoning their contracts. Maybe 5 years ago, we wouldn't have seen this. Is that correct?
No, we've been having this for decades.
Okay.
Decades. Before it was that the quantity was not there, but we may have maybe in a year 5, 6. In a year, we have 4. This in last board meeting, I believe we had about another 3 or 4 as well. Yes.
Any more questions? Do I hear a motion to approve item 6C?
I move to approve item 6C.
Motion has been approved to accept item 6C by Joshua Bright, second by Linda Duncan. Any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passed 5-0. Now we'll go on to item number 7, closed session. Board will adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. 7A, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.074, 551.129, consultation with legal counsel, including possible telephone consultations with legal counsel as necessary to address the legal concerns, implications, and answer any legal questions regarding posted agenda items. 7B, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discuss personnel matters including appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline or dismissal of an employee or employees. 7C, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, deliberation of appointment of District 3 trustee seat. 7D, it is 9:41, and we'll now go with item number 8, reconvene the open meeting. The board will take appropriate action on items, if necessary, as listed in closed session. Item 8A, no action taken. For the possible action of professional personnel, including appointment, employment, evaluation, assignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public employee. Item 8B, do I hear a motion on 8B, the possible action regarding identified options for land acquisition?
Mr. President, I have a motion. I move to delegate authority to Dr. Veronica Vigil, interim superintendent, to negotiate and execute purchases and sale agreements and all other documents and instruments necessary to effectuate and complete the purchase and financing as discussed in closed session.
Motion has been made by Joshua Bright on item 8B and second by Linda Duncan. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passed 5-0. to action item 8C, consideration of possible action regarding the appointment of District 3 trustee. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. President, I move to appoint Grace Miller as District 3 trustee.
Do I hear a motion from Ben Amador? Do I hear a second to appoint Grace Mueller as District 3 trustee? Second has been made by Linda Duncan. Any discussions? Any discussions? All in favor, raise your hand. 4 ayes and 1 nay. All against? Any discussions? Motion passed. Congratulations. Great. Moving on to item 8-9, board comments and requests. Oh, I'm sorry, 8B, sorry. Nancy will do the,
Welcome to the consent agenda. You can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
Grace Miller,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Seguin ISD Trustee District 3
of the office of the Seguin ISD Trustee District 3
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
preserve, defend, and protect preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution very good,
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of the state of Texas,
and of the state of Texas.
so help me God.
So help me.
Congratulations, Mama.
You can sign the oath right here that you just swore.
I'm just going to add a few highlights on
You're
this.
the one who took the oath.
Yep, you took the oath
So a little information on Grace Mueller. She's retired from San Marcos ISD, where she spent 30 years, 19 years as a special ed teacher, 11 years as an 8th grade ELA teacher. She served as a Region 13 trainer for other districts. She's also a member of the Texas Classroom Teachers Association and served as president of the local chapter and legislative chair for the state and president for the state association. She serves on the Retired Advisory Committee with TRS. She's been there for 8 years. And she's very familiar with local budgets as they pertain to teachers and curriculum. Once again, congratulations. So now we'll move on to board comments or requests. We'll move on to item 10, adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a motion? Motion is made by Ben Amador to adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it. Here you go.
Second by Grace Mueller. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion